After 30 years of analyzing weather patterns across North America, I can tell you with confidence that what's developing tonight represents one of the most significant atmospheric shifts I've witnessed. While you're enjoying this peaceful Christmas evening with family, multiple weather systems are converging in ways that haven't occurred for decades. We're looking at a 970 millibar storm system gaining strength offshore that will deliver ice storms, substantial mountain snow, and successive Arctic air invasions. Those who understand serious winter weather recognize what these signals mean. Take note of tonight's mild temperature as you relax with loved ones. That comfortable warmth will soon become history as a powerful low-pressure system off the West Coast draws East Pacific moisture into California with remarkable intensity. This same weather system will gain extraordinary strength during its eastward movement, ultimately achieving hurricane force intensity over land by New Year's. What fascinates me most after decades of meteorological study is the magnitude of this developing pattern. While California prepares for significant rainfall and Sierra Nevada mountains brace for snowfall rates of 2 to 4 inches per hour, the remainder of America experiences exceptional December warmth. This temperature contrast is setting the stage for something our predecessors would have understood: genuine winter weather returning with determination. Over the next 15 minutes, I'll analyze exactly what each region should anticipate, because the decisions you make tonight could determine how your family navigates the challenges ahead. By the 3-minute mark, I'll detail the immediate West Coast situation currently developing. Around 7 minutes, I'll explain tomorrow's ice storm threat for the Great Lakes. And at 12 minutes, I'll share the January outlook that every American household should understand. Starting with our West Coast neighbors, if you're viewing from California tonight, you're observing the beginning of what could be the most substantial moisture event in years. That strong low-pressure system positioned offshore isn't merely bringing precipitation. It's funneling East Pacific moisture counterclockwise into the state, creating heavy rain bands that will intensify significantly overnight. The Sierra Nevada mountains are about to witness something remarkable. Northern California is already seeing very heavy snowfall begin, with rates potentially reaching 2 to 4 inches per hour in the heaviest bands, particularly across higher elevation passes. We're looking at several feet of accumulation through this event, the kind of snowfall that transforms the landscape. This moisture doesn't stop at California's borders. Washington State and Oregon can expect a couple more feet of snow, especially across the Cascades. The Rockies will see significant accumulations, extending through Idaho, Montana, western Wyoming, and Utah. Mountain communities know what this means. Excellent news for ski resorts, challenging conditions for travel. Now here's where this pattern takes on national significance. That offshore system will spend the next 24 to 48 hours organizing before moving downstream into the eastern United States. Weather models show a strong low-pressure system already developing across eastern Quebec. This becomes our next major winter storm as we approach New Year's. For those of us who understand weather patterns, this represents the natural order that has governed our climate since creation. When warm and cold air masses collide, that energy must manifest as wind, precipitation, and dramatic temperature changes. We're witnessing atmospheric forces that demand both respect and preparation. Tomorrow, Boxing Day, December 26, brings our first major challenge. An icy situation is developing where shallow cold air will funnel down from the north while warmer air pushes up from the south. High pressure building between these systems creates the perfect setup for freezing rain across a corridor stretching from Michigan through western Pennsylvania. This isn't a light glaze situation. We're talking about accumulating ice on sidewalks, driveways, untreated surfaces, roadways, bridges, and overpasses from Michigan through western and central Pennsylvania into western New York and down into Maryland. Travel will become genuinely hazardous, especially for those heading home from Christmas gatherings. Where cold air runs deeper across the Great Lakes region, this same system produces snow instead of ice as we progress through Saturday and into the weekend. The broader pattern reveals our major winter storm developing for the New Year period, a system that will intensify to a remarkable 970 millibars over southeastern Canada. Picture what 970 millibars means. That's approaching hurricane strength intensity, but instead of storm surge, we get heavy snow and powerful winds. Areas around Toronto, Montreal, and surrounding southeastern Canadian regions will experience the full force of this system, with significant impacts extending into New England. Our friends across New England should prepare for substantial snowfall during this New Year's time frame. The system may start as coastal rain, but transitions to snow flurries and heavier snow showers on the backside. Wind will blow and drift accumulations around significantly, reducing visibility and creating hazardous travel conditions throughout the region. January opens with even more intensity as a 958 millibar low develops right over Hudson Bay. This creates additional snow opportunities across the Lake Superior region, southern and central Ontario, Quebec, and New England, with western and upstate New York particularly favored for heavy accumulations. Snowfall projections for these areas range from 6 to 12 inches, with localized amounts potentially higher. There will be transition zones where freezing rain and sleet occur, and where freezing rain becomes dominant, expect light glaze accumulations up to 0.2 of an inch, enough to create treacherous conditions. Temperature patterns tell an interesting story as we move beyond Christmas. Tomorrow, December 26th, we'll still see temperatures running 40 degrees above normal across the central United States. However, Arctic air is already building across Quebec, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and northeastern states, the advance guard of what's coming. A significant mass of Arctic air sits poised in Alaska and western Canada, ready to spread across the United States over the coming week. This isn't the brief cold snap we've become accustomed to. This represents a more widespread, sustained Arctic intrusion, extending from Alaska down into the central and eastern United States by New Year's Eve. Those planning New Year's celebrations in major cities should dress appropriately. New York City could see wind chills dropping into the teens and low 20s by midnight January 1st. This marks a dramatic departure from the mild December we've enjoyed and signals a return to more traditional winter conditions. January's first week, the 1st through 7th, establishes a blocking pattern across Scandinavia, Russia, and east of Greenland that meteorologists recognize as highly favorable for Arctic air penetration into North America. The polar vortex positioned over northern Canada will leak cold air southward into western Canada and the United States. This represents genuine Arctic air, the coldest of the season so far. We're talking about air masses originating in Alaska, extending through Yukon, the Northwest Territories, and much of southern Canada from British Columbia eastward to Quebec. Northern tier states will experience this true Arctic influence, while southern regions maintain milder conditions initially. January's snowfall prospects include active clipper systems, those strong, compact, low-pressure systems that develop rapidly and drop significant snow across southeastern Canada before affecting Maine, Nova Scotia, portions of Quebec and Ontario, then tracking back into the upper Midwest, including the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and northern Michigan. As January progresses through weeks 2, 3, and 4, the pattern maintains its active character. A blocking ridge of high pressure establishes itself toward Alaska, allowing colder air to settle further south across southeastern Canada during the second week, January 8th through 15th, while keeping Alaska itself relatively mild. The third week of January, 15th through 22nd, continues this theme, with colder air favoring eastern Canada and extending down into the eastern United States. The persistent blocking high near Alaska ensures cold air remains positioned well south of its typical location for this time of year. January's final week, the 23rd through 31st, could see the most extensive cold air coverage, with Arctic conditions trapped across southern Canada and much of the northern and eastern United States. This represents the kind of sustained cold pattern that defines genuine winter weather, rather than brief seasonal episodes. What does this mean for January snowfall? All indicators point toward an active, snowy month, particularly during the second half. Early January through around the 15th will likely focus snow activity across northern Canada and the northern tier of states. But as cold air penetrates further south, snow opportunities expand dramatically. The second half of January, extending right through Super Bowl weekend, shows significant snow potential across eastern Canada, Ontario, Quebec, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, along with the Northeast, including New England, away from the immediate coastline. This pattern supports multiple storm opportunities rather than isolated events. Midwest and northern Ohio Valley regions should prepare for decent snow accumulations during January's second half. There's even potential for snow to extend into more southern locations during the final week of January if Arctic air penetrates far enough south to support winter precipitation across typically milder areas. Now let me share something that transcends weather forecasting and speaks to how we approach challenges as mature adults and community members. Winter storms represent both tests and opportunities. Tests of our preparation and planning, opportunities to demonstrate the neighbor helping neighbor spirit that has always characterized strong American communities. This developing pattern isn't unusual from a historical perspective. It actually represents a return to more traditional winter behavior after several years of relatively mild conditions. Those of us who remember winters from previous decades recognize this type of sustained cold and snow pattern as normal seasonal behavior. For those of us in positions of family and community leadership, this becomes our moment to share accumulated wisdom. Start preparations while conditions remain favorable. Check heating systems thoroughly. Stock essential supplies, and identify neighbors who might need assistance during challenging conditions ahead. Consider the elderly residents in your neighborhood, particularly those living alone who might need help with snow removal, or simply someone checking on their welfare during storms. Young families often benefit from guidance during their first serious winter weather experiences. Our accumulated experience becomes valuable community resource. Home preparation should include heating system inspection. Test your furnace, replace filters, ensure adequate fuel supplies if using oil or propane heating. Stock food, water, medications, and essential supplies that might become difficult to obtain during extended storm periods or power outages. Emergency supplies deserve careful attention. Flashlights, batteries, candles, portable radios that function during power outages. Backup heating sources should be properly maintained and safely ventilated. Ice storms and heavy snow frequently cause extended power outages, particularly affecting rural areas and older infrastructure. Family members traveling for holidays need clear communication about evolving weather conditions. Encourage flexibility with travel timing. Arriving safely but late beats not arriving at all. Vehicle preparation should include emergency supplies, blankets, water, non-perishable food, basic tools, and communication devices. Secure outdoor holiday decorations and any items that could become dangerous in high winds. Winter storms often generate gusty conditions capable of turning decorations into flying projectiles. Pet and livestock welfare requires attention. Adequate shelter from wind and cold becomes essential during Arctic outbreaks. Family communication planning should include methods that don't rely solely on cellular networks, which can become overwhelmed during emergencies. Know locations of emergency shelters and warming centers. Understand utility shutoff procedures and keep important documents in waterproof containers. Electronic devices should be fully charged with backup power sources available. Generator investment makes sense for areas prone to extended outages, but requires proper installation and ventilation. Carbon monoxide poisoning becomes a serious risk when people use inappropriate heating sources during power failures. Most importantly, cultivate community connections that have sustained Americans through challenging weather throughout our history. Regular neighbor check-ins, resource sharing when possible, coordination with local emergency management and faith communities ensure everyone in your area remains prepared and accounted for. Scripture teaches us that we are called to bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. During winter emergencies, this commandment takes practical form through snow removal assistance for elderly neighbors, generator sharing during outages, and providing warm shelter for those experiencing heating failures. Tonight's forecast presents both challenges and opportunities. We face a more active winter pattern than we've experienced in recent years, but we're also receiving advance notice that allows proper preparation, community coordination, and demonstration of the resilience that has always characterized strong American neighborhoods. This particularly applies to those of us who remember when communities routinely supported each other during winter storms. We possess experience and knowledge that can guide younger families through these conditions while ensuring our elderly neighbors maintain connections to community support networks. My next forecast will provide updates on these developing weather patterns and additional guidance for navigating January's extended winter conditions. Early model data continues suggesting an active, cold month ahead, making informed preparation and community coordination increasingly important. As we conclude this Christmas evening and face the challenging weather ahead, remember that preparation and faith complement each other perfectly. We prepare not from anxiety, but from wisdom earned through experience. We assist others not from obligation, but from understanding that strong communities care for all members. The winter pattern developing over coming weeks will test our preparation while strengthening community bonds. Through proper planning, mutual support, and wisdom that comes with life experience, we can navigate this active winter period safely while emerging with deeper neighborhood connections and greater appreciation for community resilience. Use this Christmas evening for meaningful conversations with family about winter preparedness. Share plans with children and grandchildren. Ensure everyone understands procedures for power outages, dangerous travel conditions, and emergency communications. This preparation becomes a gift we give our families. British Columbia continues experiencing exceptional snowfall that creates excellent winter recreation opportunities while requiring careful avalanche safety attention in mountain areas. Western United States mountain snow will continue through this pattern, benefiting water supplies while creating challenging travel conditions for mountain communities. Rural communities across the Great Plains and Midwest understand this snow cover provides valuable moisture for spring agricultural seasons while requiring careful livestock protection during Arctic air outbreaks. Those of us in rural areas know the importance of preparing well ahead for extended periods of difficult travel. As we wrap up tonight's forecast, remember that winter storms have always formed part of the natural cycle governing our climate. The same Creator who designed changing seasons also provided us wisdom to prepare for them and compassion to care for each other when nature tests our communities through challenging conditions. This Christmas evening, as families settle in across our nation, we can appreciate the advance warning we're receiving about active winter weather ahead. Through proper planning, community cooperation, and trust in divine providence, we can face whatever challenges the coming weeks bring with confidence and hope. Thank you for spending part of your Christmas evening with me. Stay connected with local emergency management, monitor changing forecasts, and remember that community strength has always been our greatest resource during challenging times. May God bless you and your families throughout this Christmas season and the winter ahead. From everyone here, we wish you and your families a blessed Christmas filled with joy from time spent with loved ones and peace that comes from being prepared for whatever weather challenges lie ahead. Stay safe, stay connected to your community, and remember that together we can weather any storm. Until our next forecast, may your homes remain filled with warmth, your communities strong with mutual support, and your hearts at peace, knowing we've been given both wisdom to prepare and strength to help one another through winter's tests. Blessed Christmas evening to all.